This segment is sponsored by VCU Health Hume Lee Transplant Center.
Living organ donors offer the gift of life. We're joined by Dr. David Bruno, Surgical Director of the Adult and Pediatric Liver Transplantation at VCU Health Hume Lee Transplant Center. That's a lot to get on a business card. And Leah Luongo, a living kidney and liver donor, is with us this morning. Good morning to you both. Good to see you.
Good morning.
All right, Doc, we're going to get to you in a second, but let's talk to the most important person here, and that's Leah. Leah, you donated a kidney and part of your liver. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
She says that casually. Like, oh, yeah, I did that, and I went to the grocery store.
Pretty much.
Yeah. How did you decide to do this, and not one, but two organs?
Well, so the first one, it was pretty easy. It was my husband. And at the first visit he had with the transplant team to get listed, they asked if I wanted to get tested. And I was like, sure. And actually, a little less than 2 weeks later, we got the word that I was a match, which was right before Valentine's Day. So it was kind of perfect. And so it was just kind of a go from there. All the testing went really well. Nobody else had to get tested. And he's still walking around with a nice little kidney that he borrowed from me. And while we were doing the testing for that, I found out that a friend of mine from college, her husband needed part of a liver. And so I actually kind of pseudo-jokingly asked my coordinator whether or not it'd be possible to just go ahead and do both at one time, since I was donating my right kidney anyway. And she kind of looked at me and, she was like, well, they weren't doing living liver donations at the time. So I actually never got an answer to the question of whether or not it was possible. So I think in the back of my head, it was just kind of sitting there, that at some point I would probably do it. And I was actually I was in the process of being a directed donor to somebody I didn't know. And they got a better match. So about the next night, I was talking to my husband about whether or not I should just continue and do a non-directed donation. And since I had not known the young man, to us, it was kind of the same. Literally 30 minutes after we had that conversation, we hopped on Facebook and saw that a friend of ours needed a liver. And that was kind of it. I looked at my husband and I was like, can this really be this easy twice? And turned out, at least from my end, it was. Can't say the same whether or not my donor feels the recipient feels the same, but from my end, it was just perfect both times around.
Well, and then Leah, also you have this in case your husband ever gets on your nerves, you can always say, but so there's that. That is an amazing story. Thank you so much. Dr. Bruno, how rare is it for someone like Leah, a living donor who donated a kidney and a liver?
Well, it's rare enough that I've been doing this for a reasonably long time and I've never heard of it. So I think it's a pretty unique situation. And to me, Leah is, she's twice a hero. And we're certainly fortunate to have people like her. I mean, she's essentially saved 2 lives.
How complex is that procedure? It sounds to me like I'm still amazed that you're even able to do it. Is this like 30 people on a team, or how does this work?
It's really, it's 4 surgeons. There's 2 surgeons in the donor room doing the operation on Leah. We're really fortunate here at VCU to have a surgeon who has done over 700 of these in his career. He's probably one of the most, if not the most experienced living donor liver transplant surgeons in the U.S. right now. And on the other side, we have another set of surgeons. And then there's, we have a big team. We have a big team of anesthesiologists. We have a big team of our circulating nurses and our scrub techs, our perfusionists. So it is a little bit of a cast of 1,000, but it's a really tight-knit group. We do this a lot here. We just did our 127th liver transplant of the year at VCU today. So it's a well-oiled team, but you're right. It's a big team.
Yeah, and we only have a little bit of time left. How complicated it is for the donor, doctor?
Well, I think that if you think of it from the perspective of the donor, they're a healthy person who's having a major operation, and the operation itself is so complex that very few surgeons do it. Very few transplant surgeons actually do this operation. So it requires an awesome amount of experience. It requires an awesome amount of surgical expertise, and really, every breath of what we do. So it's certainly one of the most complex procedures that we do anywhere on anything.
Yeah. Leah, a couple of weeks ago, I was patting myself on the back because I gave an old suit to Goodwill. Not quite on your level, girl. So any parting words here with about 20 seconds left of folks that might be thinking about this?
So somewhat it's easier than people think. It can also be harder probably than people think, but I think everybody should at least consider it. Let it sit back of your head, and hopefully you'll find a time where you can maybe find someone that you can help as well.
Wow. Well, two amazing folks. I love my job. I get to meet some amazing folks, and we thank you both for spending a moment with us this morning. And happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
The VCU Health Hume Lee Transplant Center is located in the VCU Health Gateway Building, 7th floor at 1200 East Marshall Street in Richmond. Give them a call, 804-828-4104. Visit online at vcuhealth.org/transplant and find them on Facebook by searching VCU Health Hume Lee Transplant Center, at VCU Transplant on Twitter and Instagram. And please stay with us. We'll have more Virginia This Morning after a quick break.